Deep within the desolate expanse of the Nevada desert lies a place shrouded in mystery. This is Area 51, a name synonymous with secrecy, advanced technology, and the unknown. For years, Area 51 has been the subject of countless rumors and speculations. Whispers of captured alien spacecraft and reverse-engineered extraterrestrial technology have fueled countless books, documentaries, and fictional accounts. But beneath the layers of speculation lies a fascinating truth, a truth rooted in the Cold War, the space race, and the relentless pursuit of technological superiority. This is the story of Area 51, a story of cutting-edge aircraft, daring test pilots, and the lengths to which governments will go to protect their secrets. It is a story that begins not with little green men, but with the very real threat posed by the Soviet Union during one of the most turbulent periods in human history. Join us as we delve into the origins of this enigmatic place, peeling back the layers of secrecy to uncover the truth behind the legend. From its humble beginnings as a remote test site for experimental aircraft to its current status as one of the most heavily guarded locations on Earth, the story of Area 51 is a testament to human ingenuity, ambition, and the enduring allure of the unknown. Our journey begins in the early 1950s, a time when the world teetered on the brink of nuclear war. The Cold War was in full swing, and the United States and the Soviet Union were locked in a deadly game of cat and mouse. Both superpowers were engaged in a frantic arms race, developing increasingly sophisticated weapons and intelligence-gathering technologies. It was against this backdrop of global tension that the seeds of Area 51 were sown. The United States, desperate to gain an advantage over its Soviet rivals, needed a secret location to develop and test its most advanced aircraft. They needed a place that was isolated, secure, and far from prying eyes. They found their answer in the desolate heart of the Nevada desert, a vast, unforgiving landscape, seemingly untouched by human hands. It was here, amidst the shimmering heat haze and the wind-swept valleys, that a top-secret military installation would rise from the desert floor. In 1955, under the auspices of the Central Intelligence Agency and with the blessing of President Dwight D. Eisenhower, a remote patch of desert known as Groom Lake was chosen as the site for a new top-secret test facility. Officially designated as Area 51, this isolated outpost would soon become synonymous with some of the most groundbreaking and secretive aviation projects in history. Finding the ideal location for a top-secret military installation required unique geographical and strategic advantages. The vast emptiness of the Nevada desert offered the perfect blend of isolation and opportunity. Spread across hundreds of square miles, this arid expanse provided a natural barrier against prying eyes. Its remoteness ensured activities remained hidden from the public and Soviet intelligence. The harsh desert environment became a strategic advantage for Area 51. Scorching temperatures and unforgiving terrain deterred casual travelers. This natural barrier provided an additional layer of security. With miles of empty desert, Area 51 was cut off from the outside world. Within this vast desert landscape, a specific location emerged as the ideal site for the clandestine operations of Area 51, Groom Lake. More than just a dry lake bed, Groom Lake offered a unique combination of features that made it perfectly suited for the needs of the CIA and the United States Air Force. Surrounded by towering mountain ranges, Groom Lake was naturally secluded from the outside world. The mountains acted as a natural barrier, shielding the area from view and making it difficult to access by land. The lake bed itself, dry and hard-packed for most of the year, provided an ideal natural runway for experimental aircraft. This natural landing strip, far superior to anything that could be constructed at the time, allowed for the testing of high-performance aircraft without the need for extensive and time-consuming construction projects. The remoteness of Groom Lake was further enhanced by its proximity to the Nevada Test and Training Range, a vast military reservation already used for classified weapons testing and training exercises. This existing military infrastructure provided a ready-made security perimeter and access to essential resources such as communication networks, power grids, and transportation routes. Groom Lake's isolation also extended to the electromagnetic spectrum. The lack of nearby settlements and human activity meant that the area was relatively free from radio interference and other electronic signals. This radio-quiet environment was essential for the testing of sensitive electronic equipment and the development of advanced radar and communication technologies. The isolation that made the Nevada desert an ideal location for a secret base was not without its challenges. The harsh desert environment, while providing natural security, also posed logistical hurdles for the construction and operation of a sophisticated military installation. The scorching summer temperatures, often exceeding 110 degrees Fahrenheit, made outdoor work grueling and potentially dangerous. The lack of readily available water sources required the transportation of water over long distances, adding to the logistical burden and the cost of operating the base. The remoteness of the location also made it difficult to attract and retain skilled workers. The promise of secrecy and the allure of working on cutting-edge projects had to be balanced against the isolation, the harsh living conditions, and the need for absolute discretion. Despite these challenges, the isolation of Area 51 also presented unique opportunities. The vast, unrestricted airspace above the Nevada desert provided an ideal testing ground for experimental aircraft. Free from the constraints of civilian air traffic and the prying eyes of curious onlookers, test pilots could push the limits of aviation technology without fear of discovery or interference. The transformation of Groom Lake from a desolate patch of desert into a top-secret military installation was a marvel of engineering and logistics. With the utmost secrecy, construction crews descended upon the site, bringing with them the materials, the equipment, and the expertise to build a base from scratch in one of the most unforgiving environments on Earth. The initial construction focused on the essentials: a runway, hangars to house the experimental aircraft, and rudimentary living quarters for the personnel stationed at the base. Pre-fabricated buildings, designed for rapid assembly and disassembly, were trucked in from distant locations, their true purpose hidden from all but a select few. As the base grew, so too did its capabilities. New facilities were added, including sophisticated laboratories, workshops, and testing ranges. Engineers and technicians, recruited from top universities and private companies, arrived at the base, their skills and knowledge contributing to the development of some of the most advanced aircraft and technologies the world had ever seen. The construction of Area 51 was a testament to human ingenuity and determination. In the face of logistical challenges and under the cloak of absolute secrecy, a team of engineers, construction workers and support staff managed to create a world-class research and development facility in the heart of the Nevada desert. Their work, shrouded in secrecy for decades, would shape the course of aviation history and fuel the imaginations of generations to come. The establishment of Area 51 cannot be understood without delving into the global climate of the mid-20th century. The year was 1955. And the world was grappling with the Cold War, a silent struggle for global dominance between the United States and the Soviet Union. The ideological divide fueled suspicion, mistrust, and tension. Both sides amassed nuclear arsenals, casting a long shadow over life. The threat of mutually assured destruction hung over humanity. This period was characterized by fear of espionage and technological one-upmanship. The creation of Area 51 was a direct response to the Soviet threat. The Soviet Union, under the leadership of Joseph Stalin and later Nikita Khrushchev, had emerged from World War II as a formidable superpower. The Soviets had successfully tested their own atomic bomb in 1949, shattering the United States' monopoly on nuclear weapons and sending shockwaves through the American government and public alike. The development of the Soviet atomic bomb, coupled with their expanding sphere of influence in Eastern Europe and Asia, fueled a sense of urgency within the United States. The Americans needed to know what the Soviets were planning to assess their capabilities and anticipate their moves. Traditional methods of intelligence gathering were deemed insufficient in this new era of secrecy and subterfuge. The United States found itself lagging behind in the critical area of aerial reconnaissance. Soviet airspace was vast and heavily defended, making it extremely risky for American aircraft to penetrate. Existing reconnaissance aircraft were too slow, too vulnerable to enemy fire, and lacked the range to conduct sustained surveillance operations over Soviet territory. A new approach was needed, one that would allow the United States to peer behind the Iron Curtain without risking pilots' lives or triggering a potentially catastrophic military confrontation. This need for a technological edge in intelligence gathering would become a driving force behind the establishment of Area 51 and the development of the revolutionary aircraft that would be tested there. The United States urgently needed reliable intelligence on Soviet military capabilities. The lack of accurate information led to fear and uncertainty. Exaggerated estimates fueled an arms race. The US needed aircraft that could fly higher, faster and farther, equipped with advanced cameras and sensors. Monitoring Soviet activities aimed to discourage aggression. New technologies were explored and refined. This led to the creation of Area 51. The year 1955 marked a turning point in Cold War espionage and aerial reconnaissance. Project Aquatone, initiated by the CIA, gave birth to Area 51. The goal was to penetrate Soviet military secrecy, especially their nuclear program. The CIA turned to high-altitude aerial reconnaissance. They developed the Lockheed U-2 to fly above 70,000 feet. Groom Lake was chosen for its remoteness and existing military infrastructure. Here, the U-2 and its creators made history. Area 51 marked a new era in intelligence gathering. Behind the veil of secrecy at Area 51 stood Clarence Kelly Johnson, the legendary aircraft designer from Lockheed Skunk Works. Johnson, renowned for his unconventional thinking, was the driving force behind the U-2 spy plane and advanced aviation research. His career was marked by a relentless pursuit of speed, altitude and innovation. His motto, "It takes a bold approach to build a timid airplane," guided his work at Lockheed Skunk Works. The U-2, with its glider-like wings, was built to fly higher than anything else and gather vital intelligence. Johnson's influence extended beyond aircraft design, emphasizing secrecy and operational security. He insisted on the remote location of Area 51 to ensure security and success. The construction of Area 51 was a feat of engineering and logistics, made all the more remarkable by the need for absolute secrecy. The transformation of Groom Lake into a top-secret military installation was carried out with the utmost discretion. The initial phase focused on a runway, hangars and living quarters for the personnel. Prefabricated buildings were trucked in under the cover of darkness. As the base expanded, so did its capabilities. Sophisticated laboratories were built to analyze intelligence. Workshops were established to maintain and repair the aircraft. Communication centers maintained contact with the U-2S. Life at Area 51 was a stark contrast to the outside world. The harsh desert environment demanded resilience and adaptability. The isolation took its toll on those stationed at the base. Yet there was a sense of purpose that bound the personnel together. The establishment of Area 51 transformed a sleepy desert town into a hub of clandestine activity, fueling a local economy built on secrecy. The influx of personnel created a demand for housing, goods and services that Rachel, Nevada was ill-equipped to handle. The government discreetly expanded and developed the area to accommodate the growing workforce. Housing units were constructed near the base, hidden from view and accessible only to those with proper security clearance. Rachel, with its handful of residents, became an unlikely beneficiary of the government's activities. The influx of workers breathed new life into the local economy. The presence of Area 51 cast a long shadow over the region. Rumours of strange lights and unusual aircraft sightings fueled speculation and curiosity. As the Cold War gripped the world in a perpetual state of tension, the United States faced a critical intelligence gap. Traditional espionage methods proved largely ineffective, leaving American policymakers to grapple with incomplete and unreliable information about Soviet capabilities. The need for a technological breakthrough was paramount. This gave birth to Project Aquatone, to develop an aircraft capable of flying at altitudes exceeding 70,000 feet. This was uncharted territory in aviation. The aircraft would need to be lightweight, yet robust. The CIA turned to Lockheed's Skunk Works division, led by Clarence Kelly Johnson, who embraced the challenge with zeal. What emerged from Lockheed's Skunk Works was a marvel of engineering that defied aerodynamics. The U-2, nicknamed the Dragon Lady, was unlike any aircraft before it. Its slender fuselage housed a powerful engine and advanced reconnaissance technology. Its wings, spanning over 80 feet, were designed for extreme altitudes. Built to fly above Soviet interceptors, it captured high-resolution images. Its cameras could photograph objects as small as a car from 13 miles up. The U-2 required a unique design and operational approach. Its lightweight construction made it fragile and challenging to fly. Takeoffs and landings required long runways and precise pilot input. Pilots wore specialized pressure suits to survive at high altitudes. The U-2 was a technological marvel and a testament to human ingenuity. Area 51 provided the perfect backdrop for the U-2's development and testing. Lockheed test pilots pushed the Dragon Lady to its limits, ensuring performance and reliability. The thin air at high altitude required constant adjustments for stability. Extreme temperatures tested the aircraft's systems and pilots' endurance. Every flight was a learning experience, balancing technology and safety. Through meticulous engineering, the U-2's capabilities were refined. Its engines were fine-tuned for optimal performance at altitude. Flight control systems were calibrated for precision and responsiveness. Cameras and sensors were tested to capture high-quality images. The isolation of Area 51 was an invaluable asset during development. Section 4, Dragon Lady ascends. After months of rigorous testing and refinement, the U-2 was deemed ready for its maiden voyage into the perilous realm of Cold War espionage. In July 1956, under the cover of darkness and the utmost secrecy, a specially trained CIA pilot took off from a remote airstrip in West Germany. His destination, a clandestine overflight of the Soviet Union. The mission was fraught with danger. Soviet air defenses were formidable, their radar network constantly scanning the skies for intruders. The U-2, while flying at an altitude previously thought unattainable, was not invisible. Its survival depended on a combination of stealth, speed, and a bit of luck. The U-2's first overflight of the Soviet Union was a resounding success. The aircraft performed flawlessly, its cameras capturing a treasure trove of intelligence on Soviet military installations, airfields, and industrial centers. The images, analyzed by intelligence experts, provided an unprecedented glimpse behind the Iron Curtain, revealing the true extent of Soviet capabilities and dispelling many of the myths and exaggerations that had fueled Cold War paranoia. The U-2's success marked a turning point in the history of aerial reconnaissance. It ushered in a new era of intelligence gathering, one defined by technological superiority and the ability to gather information from previously inaccessible sources. The Dragon Lady, once a radical concept, had proven its worth, becoming an indispensable tool in the United States arsenal during one of the most tense periods in human history. Glimpses behind the Iron Curtain. The U-2's overflights of the Soviet Union were a calculated risk for national security. These daring flights provided invaluable intelligence on Soviet capabilities. They captured images of bomber bases, missile sites and naval bases. The U-2 also photographed industrial centers and transportation hubs. This intelligence shaped US policy and military strategy during the Cold War. Section 1. A veil of secrecy. From its inception, Area 51 was shrouded in secrecy, known only to a select few in the US government. The remote location and threat of Soviet espionage necessitated extreme security measures. Access was restricted to those with the highest clearances. The surrounding desert was off-limits, patrolled by military jets. Workers were sworn to secrecy, their lives compartmentalized. The government hid Area 51 from public view. Maps were redacted and documents made no mention of the base. Strange lights were dismissed as weather phenomena or test flights. The secrecy was a psychological weapon. The unknown is often more terrifying than the known. The less the Soviets knew, the better. Despite the government's best efforts, rumors about the strange happenings at Groom Lake began to circulate almost as soon as the base was established. The remote desert, once a place of solitude and silence, was now abuzz with activity, much of it hidden from public view. It was only a matter of time before curiosity got the better of the locals, and whispers of something unusual taking place in their backyard began to spread. Commercial airline pilots flying their assigned routes over the Nevada desert reported seeing strange lights in the sky, objects moving at incredible speeds and performing maneuvers that defied the laws of physics. Ranchers and prospectors, venturing into the remote valleys and canyons surrounding Groom Lake, stumbled upon unusual tracks and debris, evidence of something crashing to Earth that was unlike anything they had ever seen before. Word of these strange occurrences spread through the small towns and isolated communities that dotted the Nevada landscape. Bar conversations turned to speculation about government experiments, secret weapons, and the possibility of extraterrestrial visitors. The seeds of what would become a global phenomenon, the legend of Area 51 as a repository for captured alien spacecraft and a hotbed of extraterrestrial research, were sown. The government's denials, far from quelling the rumors, only seemed to fuel them. The more the government insisted that nothing unusual was happening at Groom Lake, the more convinced people became that they were hiding something big, something world-changing. As public interest in Area 51 grew, the government found itself in a delicate balancing act. It was essential to maintain secrecy, especially around the U-2 spy plane. The response was a mix of denials, vague explanations, and discrediting witnesses. Unusual aircraft sightings were explained as test flights or optical illusions. The more the government denied, the more convinced people became. The legend of Area 51, once a whisper, was becoming a roar. Area 51, from its clandestine beginnings amidst Cold War tensions, has evolved into a symbol of secrecy and speculation. Its very name evokes images of cutting-edge technology, hidden truths, and the tantalizing possibility of contact with the unknown. What began as a remote outpost for testing experimental aircraft has captured the world's imagination. The veil of secrecy has served as a breeding ground for speculation and myth-making. Area 51 has become a symbol of the unknown, a blank canvas for our fears and hopes. The story of Area 51 is far from over. The need for secrecy and advanced technologies continues. The base remains operational, its activities shrouded in secrecy. The U-2 spy plane has been surpassed by more advanced reconnaissance platforms. Yet, the legacy of the U-2 continues to inspire. The veil of secrecy has begun to lift, albeit slowly. Declassified documents confirm the existence of long-rumored projects. Area 51 remains an enigma where fact and fiction blur. The fascination with Area 51 shows no signs of abating. Join us next time as we explore the U-2 era and high-level secrecy.